Hey Suzanne, what's up? It's Tracy. Thank you so much for submitting a YouTube video for me to review. I'm currently working on my USPDF optional routine at the studio right now, and I'm taking a break to give you feedback for your routine that's coming up in a week you perform, which is amazing. All right, so I am watching and critiquing as I go so that the information coming from my head is fresh. So forgive the multiple cuts, but it's the best way I know how to make sure that I'm getting everything in there. So without further ado, I'm gonna start your video and then come back here and bring up any points that I see. Okay, so first thing I noticed in the first 5 seconds is you come from, let me try and fix this. You come from a fold over and you come all the way up. So make sure as you come up that the hands continue to move up your body so that you make sure that the connection is there from one move to the next. And that's something that you can pull through your entire piece, you know, continuity, so to speak. So, you know, I know you're hitting that cool lyric stop. So just make sure, you know, you're emphasizing from one move to the next that your body knows it connects. Yeah, cool. The other thing I noticed is as you descend down the pole at about 20 seconds to start the first beat, it feels a little rushed, like you're going from the descent, boom, right into your first spin, and you're not taking that second. So make sure you take that second to sort of look at the audience, or maybe hit the first beat drop with something you can like grab the pole, you know, throw your arm out, throw your shoulder out, or just look at the audience before you start a dynamic walk around the pole into that back hook, that lifted back hook. So take that moment, because the actual music changes a lot between that beginning and it goes doo, and then the beat drops. So make sure you are emphasizing that, because I think that that's a big moment and it's getting lost because you just go right into the walk. And I know why you're doing that, because you want to hit that back dip when he says drop. So I don't know if you can work it out where you can emphasize that first beat and then still hit that moment, but I think that you're missing that opportunity. But I really like that you do listen to the music and you are paying attention to all the beats. A lot of people don't do that, and you're definitely doing that, so it's already going to be really, really cool and interesting. So you're totally on the right track. Yeah? All right, boss. Okay, so next thing is you do the run around the pole into the flying body spiral. And I like it. I like how it plays with the music. But make sure you're keeping your legs really straight as long as you can before you whip back around and bend the knees so that the spin flies a little bit more. And I'm sure that will happen in the studio when you have more space. Yeah? Okay, so once the floor work starts and you do the back shoulder roll, just try and sort of lengthen those little moments, especially when you're crawling forward. I like that you have a little bit of abandon going on, kind of like you're throwing your body around, and it's really sexy, it's awesome, it works with the music. But just try and almost dramatize those moments so you're really reaching forward, and you're not making the little mini adjustments to your body, like when you push back. You know, you're pushing back and you're being decisive, and you don't do the little adjusting to make sure you're in the right place. Like, don't worry about where you are on the floor. When you get back up, you will, you know, gain your bearings on where on the floor that you are. But I'd rather you just dedicate to that movement. The other thing is the one part I think you look like you're not really sure. Well, I'm just watching. So after you push back about 115, yeah, and you do this lunge out, maybe you can slow down that moment and look up and just take that moment with the audience where you're connecting. The actual lines are really cool, but so just own them more. You look like you are a little indecisive of what you want to do next, but I think what you're doing, the pulsing, and then going to the other side pulsing, it really does work. I just think you need to own it, dedicate to it, and live in it. You know what I mean? Like, get into the music and look like you're enjoying that moment, and you're not like, oh shit, I gotta get back up quick. But as far as movement on the floor, I don't see any issues. I do like it. I'm just gonna keep watching and see if I have something else to add. So at 122 to 123, you're in this lunge and you go to look up at the pole. What might work really well is he says something like how. If you roll your head and then look up at the pole and really try and get the whole audience to kind of follow where you're going with your eyes. So you can kind of lengthen that moment, I think, with like a nice head roll, and then slow it down as you reach up for the pole. So at 134, 135, you're getting back up the pole, and I think that moment could be a little more dramatized by putting a little bit more energy in your fingers and in your body. So as you're reaching up, you could spread your fingers out and sort of drop your shoulders, lift your chin, and sort of like slow down that throwing up the pole. Because what happens is you have that moment and then it ends so quick because you're getting ready into the stronghold to go into a chopper. So again, like I'm a big advocate of taking those moments so that you can live in the choreography and not overcomplicate it, and the audience can enjoy what you're doing and what you're feeling. You know that I totally believe in a routine that's not about all tricks, that has those moments, and you're doing them. I just think, after you're done practicing and you actually get on stage, you just want to enjoy them a little bit more. Okay. So the monkey climb at about 135-ish, make sure when you're hanging the knee over the pole that you're really activating the hamstring. Now I'm using my arm, but what I mean is my leg. So when you get that leg over, make sure you're activating the hamstring and really bringing the leg down over the pole and get a good lock. So don't just rely on your skin contact, actually engage the muscles and squeeze the heck out of the pole and get it in the knee pit, so to speak, so that you have a deeper knee hang before you climb up over it. And make sure you are pointing your toes, you have lovely feet, but make sure that, this is so difficult with this little camera. Make sure that when you extend through your leg, that you are activating this muscle and the calves are nice and tight so that the leg isn't just, the toe's not just pointed, but there's actually like a stretch going through the feet. And I know when you go into choppers and things like that, we tend to, a lot of us tend to forget about stretching through the legs, but try not to forget that through the monkey climb so that you keep the lines nice and straight and long. Okay, so the Aisha, it looks awesome. You're getting nice distance with your hips, but what I think is happening is you've got, and let me just try and take this off so you can see, you've got a nice line down the body, but what I think needs to happen is a hollow out so that you're almost engaging and pushing the shoulder blades apart, and that will lock the elbow even more in there so you can get even farther away from the pole. So that your feet aren't dropping down and counterbalancing the sort of triangle shape that the Aisha makes. So in the air, you are more like here, but if you can try and kind of really reach back with the shoulder blades, kind of pulling them apart and sit your hips back even more, then you'll get more distance away from the pole. And then try not to drop your toes too low. You want to keep that nice sort of 90-degree angle. Awesome. Okay, bicycles as you descend down the pole. I'll just show you on the floor. So you're doing little ones. So try and really work through the knees, boom, and slow that last one down so that the bicycles are a little bit bigger. Because right now they're perfect with the timing, I think, because obviously there's sync issues, but try to make them a little bit bigger. Separate the knees a little bit more so that they just look like a bigger move. Awesome. The rock star, it's awesome. You get nice rotation, but make sure that the hooked leg, the bottom foot, make sure you're still stretching through your feet as you connect to the pole, because the foot's a little bit loose as you reach for the pole, and you want to make sure that toe is nice and pointed and long so that the spin is overall cleaner. Same with the double cup spin. You want to make sure that you're reaching as far as possible away from the pole with the outside leg so that that spin can really breathe on its way down. And keep your hips as far away from the pole as possible. Again, stretching through the feet so the feet don't look a little bit loose. Overall technique will improve if your feet are pointed. I know we drive that over and over again, but it really is something that you have to like repeat in your head the whole time until it becomes second nature. I have one suggestion. You go into the ballerina, and it's a really cool way to end. If you can try and release the bottom arm that's holding on the pole for support, and then that will actually increase the difficulty of the trick. It would be kind of cool if you came back into the fold over from the ballerina so that you ended where you started. It's something to think about. If you came out of it and then just folded back over, it would make like a really nice beginning and ending to the piece. Just my suggestion. So one thing